Let's take a stab at talking a little bit about strings. So strings we talked about in our last chapter is a way to store multiple chars together, right? To bring kind of bring ideas together, right? It's kind of like we treat it like another variable type often, but remember it's a class and we have string objects, okay? So that's some of the things we want, some of the background that we know. So I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to call the string demo. And we're going to look at a few of the methods we have. Java has a bunch of nice built-in methods for dealing with strings, and that's really what we're going to talk about. So let me create my class, and this is just going to be a runner itself. It's going to be a short demo. So public class string demo, and we're going to give this thing a main method. Public static void main string args. And what we need here is we need a variable, or what we need is a string. So I'm going to say string words, and let's set this equal to my letters. And I'm putting that all, I'm purposely not putting a space in there. So my letters. And so that's a bunch of chars put together, right? We've got several chars here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chars that are there. So let's look at some of the methods we could call to get some information. So let's say I do system.out.println, and some of the methods I could call. So if I want to see how long this string is, how many chars are there? Well, I can do words dot length, okay? And there's parentheses because that's a method. So words dot length, right, would give me this. So it's a return method, and it's going to send back the length of my letters, right? So I'm gonna run that in a minute, but we're going to look at a couple others while we do this. So that's your easiest one, just because the length of it. Let's do another system.out.println, and let's say, actually, let's create a new string first. So I'm going to say string, and I'm going to call this sub1. We'll see why in a moment. So what I'm going to set this equal to is I'm going to say words dot, and I'm going to look at one of the other methods we have. We have what's called the substring method. Substring on a char or on a string will give us a piece of that string. So what we do is we have a 2-parameter one. So I'm going to put in 2 numbers here. I'm going to say from 0 to 8 to 9. Right? So 0 to 9. Actually, let's just say 0 to 3. 0 to 3. Make it simple. What's going to happen here is going to say, hey, start at the 0th char, which in this case would be m. And I want you to go from m, and I want you to go up until 3. Do not include 3. So 0, 1, 2, stop at 3. Right? So I should get that as my output. So I have that set there. And then I'm going to print it, right, sub1. And there we go. Another way I can do a substring is let's do string sub2. And I'm going to set this equal to words.substring. And this time I'm going to say I want to go from 3 onwards. So I'm just going to say 3. So it's going to say 3 onwards. So I'm going to do system.out.println, and we do sub2. So from there I should say, okay, I should go 0 for m, right? 0, 1, 2. So then I'm going to start after that. So 3 would be E, and then it's going to go for the rest of the way, right? So that should be what's printed when in my second one, right? Another one we have that's kind of handy is, let's say I want to find out the char at a specific point. So I'm going to say system.out.println, and I'm going to say words.charAt, and I want to say what's in the second spot, which would mean putting 1, right? Because remember, we start counting at 0. So compile, we should be good, and oh, what did I do? Oh, I have a typo. Shouldn't say substrings. That's substring. And compile, and let's run this thing, right? So I'm going to go back to my string demo and run, and there we go. So again, let's compare what we have for this demo. Let me see if I can get all of that up, right? So we can see all of these different pieces. There we go. Right, so we got the length was 9. We had the substring from 0 to 3, not including 3, so that means 0, 1, and 2, which would be the first 3, which would be MYL. And then we said give me the rest of the string starting after 3. That was etters, right? Like everything that goes after that. And then we had charAt 1, right, which would give me the Y. Okay, so we can use those 4 methods to get some information about strings when we need to. So those are really just the methods dealing with basic strings. We have lots of others as well that we're going to explore in future videos.